Hello everyone, welcome once again to another Power BI related tutorial by Team Slidescope. If you are preparing for PL 300 Microsoft Power BI Data Analyst exam, one area you need to be clear on is the difference between data transformation task and data source level task. These are very important things. So for example, let's say if you are in Power BI, we are going with we are recently doing this project which you can see on our video. So when you are dealing with Power BI, here you can see in the home tab itself you have data transformation data settings. So here you can see transformation data and data source settings. There are two type of settings. If you will click on transformation of data, so you can see it will open Power Query Editor. Okay, and obviously we need to connect with it because currently my SQL server is not running, so and I don't want to change it either. But if you will click here, so you will see data source settings. So these are two different options and that is what we are discussing here. So common point of confusion. So in this we have what can you really do in Power Query's data source settings. So let's read the exact question that was asked in PL 300 practice exam. Which three changes are supported by data source setting in Power Query interface? So to confuse or whatever reason they have given this question, and each correct answer presents a complete solution. So they are asking data source setting in Power Query interface. So even if we click here, and even so here you can see the data source setting that you can see directly here. You can change source, you can export PBIDS, edit permissions, you can see here, you can clear permissions. So you have these options. If you go to transform data, and here you see different type of examples. So here also you have data source setting in Power BI interface, and that also opens the same window. So that is what they are asking. Okay, and whatever options you see, obviously I have the screenshot also which I have attached in the first one. So keeping this screenshot in mind, you can answer the questions. And adding a column, you can add a column but in Power Query Editor, not in data source setting. Clearing permission, editing permission, modifying the file path, renaming the column. So option 2, clearing permission. Option 3, editing permission. And option 4, modifying the file path. All these options can be done here, you can see. And but you cannot rename a column or you cannot add a column. These options are available in Power Query Editor interface. Because my data set is in SQL Server, I'm just starting that. And here we can connect to SQL Express. And now it is opening. So all the data sets are now opening. Suppose we have to rename a column. Okay. So we can click here, rename the column. If you want to add a new column, you can go to add column, and there are multiple ways of adding a column, but these two options are available in Power Query Editor interface and they are not available in Edit Query interface. So remember this thing, and that's why here data source setting different. So I may be showing this many times, but this will be easier for you to understand. So what is data source setting in Power Query? The data source setting option is not used for transforming data, but rather than for managing access, file paths and credentials. As you saw, like I connected to SQL server. So those type of things. Clearing permissions. This is a core feature of data source setting. You can clear saved credentials, like my window authentications are saved. Sometimes let's say I have to connect to a different data source, then again every time it will connect me to the same, so we can clear the credentials. which forces Power BI to prompt you again for authentication, and then I can enter another detail. And it is useful when you change users or access levels. Editing permission, you can edit or update permission, such as changing authentication methods or updating credentials from anonymous to organizational account. This is common when switching from test data to production source. Modifying file path, for file-based sources like Excel, CSV, JSON, you can modify the source file path directly. Power BI lets you update the location if the file has moved or been renamed. This is done under change source in data source settings. So if you go there and you click here, so you will be able to see change source. And then, like in my case, Northwind database is connected. So if it was file, so it would have given me different options. What happens is sometimes we get a Power BI template file or Power BI file, and in the template some file is connected, everything works, but that file from where it was created was in another computer. So here you have to relocate the file. So important stuff when you will start working in an organization. So these things can be done. Adding column, renaming column is not something you can do here. And here, final thoughts, I have just given it like this. Some pro tip for exam and real life. If you are ever confused between where to manage data source, so you can remember data source setting equal to connection plus security. Power Query Editor, transformation, shaping, handling missing values, those kind of things. What I am doing here is I am preparing step by step questions and their answers, and you will find those videos on our channel as well, so you can go through them. And this is very important for those, like many students have asked us give some notes related to PL300. So I am preparing video and as well as article here, so you can go through these articles also. And this is the link, I will share this link, or you can bookmark it. And every day or every second day I will try to upload a video related to these topics, and whatever I think is important for PL300, or because many of my students are already giving PL300, and from there they are asking the questions related to PL300, so I will share those questions with you guys as well. If you have any questions related to Power BI, related to data analysis, anything, please feel free to discuss it with me so that I can explain you. Thanks for watching this video. Have a nice day.